No, don't want to do that. I'll do that for a thumbnail.
I'll show you after the show who it is. Who does it?
Oh.
Oh, no.
No. Hold on. Hey, man, we're just about to go live. Can I call you back after the show?
Press the pause button.
Okay, I'll call you back. Bye. Bye. Look, I am a good son. Roll intro. Alright, she'll get an email. So, your son is now live. Hello and welcome to the special lockdown COVID shows. Our first one of the week. Afternoon, gentlemen. Are we all good?
Hello.
Perfect, thanks.
Indeed. We are live across the airwaves, hopefully. Apart from my mum didn't know, clearly. Apologies.
Don't chat.
I should have just had a yap with her. The thing is, get my mum on the phone, she'll be on for hours. So, so yes, never mind. I'll give her a ring back later. All good. Never mind. We are live. We are live on YouTube as well. So if you've got any questions, things like that, we will. You can just post them up, and we'll try and answer as many as we can. We're also live, obviously, on the Flory Chat, which has loads of you in there. Loads of you. Tons of you. Fantastic. I weren't sure how many people would be on, were we?
No, we thought it might be a bit sparse today, but obviously not.
No, that's it. I thought we'd be really quiet today. So yeah, anyway, we all trust you had a good weekend and everything is fine and been going well. As I say, we're going to be doing these lockdown shows for, well, forever probably, but until it officially ends here in the UK anyway, which is till December. So we thought we were. Can't guarantee them every day, but what we're going to try and do is literally one on a Monday. Tuesday it's my Q&A day anyway, so that'll just be a bit more open and done that way. Wednesday we're with me and Matt, so we'll make it live, or we'll do that one live as well, so that will carry through. We were talking earlier that we might actually make the Thursday night show an afternoon show instead, so that way it can be live as well, although we're not sure. We might do one each way and things like that. And then obviously the Friday, which is technically normally the roundup show, we'll do that as a live as well. So it'll be every day between 2 and 4 for a couple of hours, and then the plan is pretty relaxed, totally informal, answering questions, having a giggle. We might even do some modelling, you never know. Talking about what's coming in, what's going out, various bits and pieces like that. So that's the plan with that one. Anyway, what's new? Anything new? Anything happened? Any new releases?
I've added to the wall of death look that's never been built.
That's Matt's wall of shame up there, as you can see. So that's where kits he was going to build go to die.
There's going to be a big pile of them then, isn't there? I'm going to need more wall space.
You can't even use them for, like, you know, start the build because you haven't actually started them.
No.
What's above the bison?
Argosy.
Oh, the Argosy course.
Anybody want an Argosy there for sale?
I thought it sold that again.
So yeah, so that's the wall of everything that's new and what's very old as well in some ways.
Yes, just a little bit. So
yes.
Anyway, we'll see.
Normal things we will say, if you've got any in-depth technical questions, okay, for members, put them in the Q&A areas on the forum and we can read them off of that, especially if you've got photos and stuff like that, because obviously we can't show photos if they're coming through that way, through the chat room live, because it's running on a different system for me. So, and stuff like that. So from that point of view, anything else you want to do, you can obviously email me as well. So if you do it to sales@Flory Models, I'll pick them up after the show, and all the good ones we'll read out on the following day's show or whenever it is. But if you want to add photos to them as well, because I know a lot of us use the contact me page through the sites, through PM and through us. Obviously you can't attach photos to it, but if you do want to do that, just do it to sales@florymodels.co.uk and we can get you sorted.
Yeah.
So yes.
So what have you been up to this morning then, Philip?
Me, I have been obviously doing all the orders. So we've got all the orders out. Sorry, the pigments still haven't arrived, even though they should be here today. So they might turn up during the show, but obviously they've missed today's post. So if you are waiting on the pigment orders, because obviously I had the special price when we did the show last week, you know, for the special offer on that one, we ran out of pigments. I ordered them. They were supposed to be in next day, but because of delays and everything their end, it's been a week late. But anyway, I was told they'd be here today. I haven't had tracking through yet, so I'm thinking it's going to be tomorrow. As soon as they're in, they will all go out. But there is like 23 of you waiting for pigment sets. So hang fire. They will be with you just as soon as I got them. They're all sat ready to go. I've just got to put the colour into it and they can all go. So it is literally waiting for that. I've done a little bit of editing, some various stuff, bit of editing on this. Review finished off the edit for this thing. When can that go live? Am I allowed to put it up yet?
Well, that's when I was about to say, because I'm in the same boat as you, because I'm still waiting on an order coming in.
Yes.
Because I filled some orders from last weekend. So if you've not got your sort of dispatch email to say it's gone, I am literally waiting for some stuff just to fulfill your orders, which I'm like Phil was hopefully was going to be in last week because it was ordered the week before.
Yeah.
So I have got tracking and it is on its way. I've got a feeling that order might be a Wednesday because I still think it's in Germany, if I'm honest.
Mm-hmm.
But we will see. You never know. It might be here tomorrow. And that's when they'll come in as well, the little drills. So. Yes. Again, just apologies for those who are still waiting on their orders, but literally I'm waiting on something to fill it. So, you know, you will get it this week because I say we should have everything should be up and running and up to date. Just the way of the world, isn't it, really? I thought it'd be quicker. It's a bit embarrassing, really. I thought it'd be here last week and then it's just rolling on a little bit. But
again, it's the same with me because the pigment people who do our pigments for us, they are really good. And they're one of these companies where if you order it before 2 o'clock, it's there next day, and it always has been for the last 10 years. Been dealing with this company. Sod's law, isn't it? I do the order, nothing. No. And I, you know, because obviously in the similar boat as well, you think because of COVID, people on furlough, I thought, well, look, I'll give them a couple of days to sort themselves out. So I didn't want to bother them by, you know, harassing them and all the rest of it. So I thought, well, that's all right. We'll just, you know. Anyway, so it got to like mid next week, last week, and I was like, the hell are they? Because we're 3 days over now. So then it was a case of, right, on the Thursday, I phoned them up and they were like, oh, really sorry. You know, we've got loads of orders come through. We've got after staff furlough. We'll get it out as soon as we can. So it'll go out with you later on today. It didn't happen. So again, you give them a bit of time, but I did email them on Friday and they said, oh, it will be going out. We'll get tracking to you as soon as it goes out, but I haven't had it yet. So I reckon it's going to go out today. So I'll get it tomorrow. So apologies, it's one of those things. It is getting there. But yeah, so anyway, I've been doing that. And also I can give you a quick overhead in here. We've been, and as you can see, we've got the chassis work done and everything on the MRAP. Okay, there's that there. Then this morning, I've been building this little section. So this is the center console and everything on the floor pan and all the rest of it made up of, thousands of bits. And then literally we've just done the dashboard, and the various things, including, because obviously everybody can see the air vents. I'll speak you on even closer camera. Everyone can see the air vents that are pointing at the floor. So you even have to put them in and lots of photo etch bending and stuff like that as well. So, yes. Steering wheel's clearly on the wrong side, but you know, apart from that, kind of everything. But as I say, when you look down in here, this is the section. So that's one center box. That's the box that goes behind it. You got the seats, because there's 2 types of seats, and there's the dash, which we've been working on today, and the photo etch and stuff as well. So that's literally where we got today. And then normally, as I said, I'd run on with this afternoon, get to around about 4 o'clock, and I'll start doing the edit. But obviously, because I'm with you guys, I won't do that. So I do a load more in the morning, and then the next part of this, which will be part 5, will hopefully be up with you tomorrow afternoon as we make our way through.
Just in the chat, Richard says, Phil, you mentioned that last week that doing the Panda Hobby MRAP instead of the RFM one would perhaps been easier. Not sure if you really meant that. It was me that said about the Panda Hobby one. I said I think he got off lightly building the Ryefield one than the Panda Hobby one, because I've got both of them. And I think the Ryefield is probably easier to build than the Panda Hobby one. In fact, I know someone who's built the Panda Hobby one and gave up halfway through it.
I think the thing is...
Sorry,
go on.
Tony's question about H6 green. Can you just have a look? Are we not?
Yeah, no, it's not on the site. I've had a look. It's
what colour is it?
It's semi-gloss. What is it? It is semi-gloss sea blue.
Let me just put a look on the rack.
What? We've not got a colour up on the site, or have they missed one?
Well, when they first sent them through, they weren't the whole set there, was it? It was
no.
It was a set of the bestsellers, wasn't it? So it's probably one we've never had in.
H6 is green.
Hey?
We've got, yeah, it's obviously.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at.
So was I thought you meant Hataka.
I'm looking at Attacker.
Yeah, we have got it. It's just not on the site for whatever reason.
Oh, right, okay.
Bizarre.
We missed that one. Apologies.
Andy will put it up now.
He'll get it up there now. Cool.
Why has that been missed? That's bizarre. Oh, well, yeah, look, we have got some 86 and that's why we don't sell it, because it's not on the site to sell.
There we go. But no, anyway, going back to this one, yeah, I think the one thing, obviously, I've learned, this is the first time I've done a Ryefield Models kit like this with all the full detail bit. You do have to be mindful that their ejector pins sometimes have little sleeves that poke off of them. So obviously where it's been pushed out, there's obviously a tiny little gap that the actual moulding is being able to get round. And some of those can interfere. And when you're dealing with tiny, tiny parts and you're trying to get them to line up or go flush, you end up with them rocking all over. You take it off and there it is, lo and behold. So cleanup is probably the hardest point. But to be honest, that's the same with anything like this. So when I've done other fully detailed interior tanks and that, you spend more time cleaning up than you do anything else. You know, making sure the parts are nice, they're clean, they're fresh. So when you do put them together, they go together very, very nicely. But it is one of those things, using a little bit of extra thin, some of the joints, just give them a little bit of glue, let it melt in there, then press it in and it'll just push in and have no problem. And the other thing as well with this kit is I've just been finding that some of the holes, yeah, there's some issues between obviously the peg and the hole. Like they're different diameters, so sometimes you have to open it up a little bit and other times they're massively too big for it and doesn't need to be that big, or the part that's going in is too long. So, you know, it's just little tiny things and sometimes you can get quite frustrated, especially for me when you do it live on camera. So here I am going in thinking, oh, that's easy, you just poke it in and it won't go. And then you've got to sand a bit off, clean up a bit, and then go again and various things, or open up a hole a little bit bigger. But, you know, I suppose it's just one of those things. When you're dealing with, I don't have no idea how many parts are in this, but a lot, you know, and each one just needs a little bit of clean up, a little bit of fiddling. It's just small and very, very fiddly. But again, it is enjoyable and it's coming together very, very nicely. And this did do it. It only took really about an hour to do that as a dash and everything. This bit took the longest, getting all that in there, but you're there now. So hopefully it'll be okay. But the Panda one, you imagine having usual Panda problems. So again, fit issues, little bits of flash, you know, ejector pins, all that type of stuff. So yes, that's that one.
Your radio set.
And I've got the radio set. Yeah, I have the radio set. Get off. That'd be good because that's all photo etch. Fun for the whole family. So that's there. So anyway, good afternoon to everybody who's in YouTube land. Yes, that was my mum. Why not just broadcast your whole life? What, it'd be like Big Brother? We could do that.
Nice.
Trust me, some of the comings and goings on round here would be better than Big Brother. Is that a Westie chopper behind you, Matt? If so, which kit?
It is, and it's the Fly kit, and it's the one that Phil built as a video build, and it's very nice, to be honest. It makes a nice piece in my office at the minute.
It is, and as I say, it's a very nice one because it's a 1/32 kit.
It is.
It's this one here that I did, and I did this one. So here it is. And I have to say, you know, we're talking about kits that can be a little bit, well, probably a little bit of a handful. This is a classic example that actually loads of scratch building. As you can see, we went right the way through the whole thing with this thing. But, you know, by the time you just get it together, all the fit, as you can see, the awful joins on it and seams and stuff. One time you get in there, sand, fill, blend, rescribe, re-rivet. Actually, it does come together something very, very special. So, yeah, this is definitely one of those kits where you go in fully eyes wide open. That's going to be a little bit of a problem. Apologies, that'd be the dogs. But, you know, going amongst it, getting in there, sorting it out, adds to all the fun. Going through, weathering it, doing the bits and pieces we did with this one. It turned into something very, very special. Very nice. And I've got the other one here. I've got two. Another one to do in the future.
Why would you do another one?
I probably would do another one. It turned out actually all right. I was very impressed with it. So yeah, she did come out all right, really.
Yeah, it does. It does look smart.
And again, it's something a nice little bit different because it's 1/32 as well.
Yes.
It's a little bit bigger, and yeah, no, she came out all right. Did enjoy doing that one.
If only they'd done it in 35th.
Yeah, I don't know if I do that though.
Talking of helicopters, have you seen AMP are releasing a new tool?
Oh, well, about time, isn't it?
Yeah, I've only seen it because it's on a future release on Anance's side. Looking, see if folks coming, and yeah, because I know KP released one, but it's the old Helikit, which is not even 148th, it's 150th, I think, isn't it? They've reboxed that, so yeah, this is a new tool one, so that'd be quite cool.
So I must admit, when that one first got mentioned, a lot of people were thinking it was a Reeboks, wasn't it? But it turns out, no, it ain't. It's a nice new one.
Yeah, it's a new one. Yeah. It's to do with AMP and Micromir, because I think they're the same company anyway. So
yeah,
that'll be good. Something different.
Simon says, "Are you getting in the new Border Models Crusader in?"
Yes, I would have thought so. Yes, definitely. A black cherry paint job.
On what?
So that's a question for me on our chat.
Oh, right, okay.
We'll get back to that. Yeah, definitely. Because I think because the only other one is the old Italeri one, isn't it? So, yes, that will be good. And we've seen the Cromwell tank as well. The Afix Cromwell are up. And for a future release with a price, I think Phil, Andy's putting them on pre-order, aren't you, Andy?
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he is.
I'm trying to find the painter. I've put the Great Lobbies up.
Yeah.
If you have just done that, I'm trying to find the paint at the moment to put that up, and then I'm multitasking.
Honestly, what was he doing all morning? He's been winging it with his other job. He's been moonlighting at B&Q again, has he?
I figured that, Mick, on a car. I'd be going down the paint shop and asking them for some.
Go on, read out the whole question so we can all, because obviously people on this side can't see it.
What paint would you use to do a black cherry paint job? What car is it on? What are you painting?
Black cherry?
Yeah.
You do gloss black and then put X27 over it.
Can you get a touch up in that colour and just thin that?
That's what I'm thinking. I'd be going and getting a touch up of that because that's a bit specialist. Don't like zero paints do it. I would have thought they'd do something like that. You definitely want base and lacquer because you want it to sort of sparkle and pop, don't you?
Good afternoon to Annette. She is in here. I can't pronounce that because it's all in Arabic. Can you a T337HG Skymaster in 1/18th? I see. Also, you can get. I think he means.
A what?
Who makes that then?
A 1/18th Skymaster.
Apparently.
A Cessna or the big thing?
Well, this is it. I assume he means the Cessna. So,
right.
Greetings to Diego in Ecuador.
Oh.
Ecuador.
I knew you was going to do that. You beat me to it. Right. So it's like this cherry black paint, right? Yeah. No auto paint and no zero paint. Okay. I don't know then.
Did it say what car it's for?
Yeah, Dodge Challenger. I take it's an old one. I don't know.
The thing is, what you're going to have to look for is a paint code, isn't it, and get it made.
Yeah,
is he sure? Is he really, really sure he doesn't want it white?
Do you know what it could be? I tell you what it could be. It could be House of Colour. It'll be a House of Colour paint. And they sell that down here, mate, from the paint shop where I used to go. Because that sounds very specialist to me, but
it does.
Yeah, mate, try House of Colour. Google them, they might do it. And I don't know if you get touch up paint or what, but I'll tell you what, mate, it's not cheap. So, I don't know. Have a look and come back to me. And I don't think I've ever painted cherry black. I can't remember. House of Colour is probably the best. It probably is, but it's bloody expensive as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. Some proper nice colours. Go on, sorry.
Okay, Gordon says that he tried the new flory sanders for the first time at the weekend and he loves them. The skinny sanders are particularly handy. Oh, they are that. Thank you. Afternoon, Stuart. Question for Andy. This is from ZD433. Do you have a good supplier for replacement fluorescent tubes for your bench light?
Yeah.
Yeah, Amazon.
One second.
Didn't we have this the other week? We were talking about them, weren't we?
Yeah, I think so. Was it between us lot we were talking about that?
It might have been just us lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I got mine from electricalworld.com.
There you go.
Is where I got mine from. I just looked for the G5s? Doesn't say on what they are.
How long are they?
Don't know. Doesn't say at all.
Oh, well. As long as they fit and they work.
Fit the work, yeah, but yeah, these, yeah.
Hey.
But they came nice packed like that.
Giant Toblerone.
Yeah.
Got excited until he found it's got a light bulb in it.
Yeah. So that, yeah, electricalworld.com these were from. And they weren't expensive at all. And I just bought a few extras just to be rude not to. I think the most expensive thing is the postage. So
Have they got that part number on them then, Andy, on that box?
yeah.
I wonder if a part number, how would they pick them?
They just guess.
Yeah.
It's got a barcode on it, but
No, right, there's nothing else on it.
it just says 865 daylight.
There you go, 865 daylight.
There you go. That'll be it
Code,
then.
wouldn't it?
Tom says, just to let Matt know that his drill arrived today, safe and sound. Many thanks.
Very good.
Brett's up early. Good morning. Watching from the office at work again. Don't forget,
Tony's
people,
asked-
Brett is our UK supplier or US supplier for all the Flory model stuff. So for some reason, like today, I had a spate of orders coming to me from the US. You can save yourself a lot of time and postage and get them from Brett from High Altitude Hobbies.
Oh, we've had something. Tony's asked, is the 148 Italy Wessex any good? And
It's fantastic when you get around to finishing it.
where's yours?
Shelf of Doom.
In my pile of to-dos.
I've built it and I enjoyed it. It's all right. It's not without its little niggles, but it's pretty good kit, to be honest.
Biggest fault is the panel lines don't match up at all. In fact, yours is nowhere near as bad as mine is it? I don't know why, but my panel lines on mine, they weren't the same version we did we?
No, we did different versions, but it's still the same base kit, isn't it? It's only got different nose on it.
Yeah, but I don't know. But even on the spine, see, like you got panel lines are like that on mine on the spine, and yeah, they're sort of like all over the place. So trying to
put a dog leg in.
Well, yeah, it just looks right mess. And on the nose, when they sort of like come down, they're sort of like they're just all over the place. It's a bit of a mess, but
it's covered up anyway, though, isn't it, with a decal?
Yeah, true,
but they've asked what you've been working on because your bench looks a tip. Put it politely. No, he didn't say that. He said, Tracy's put Andy's bench looks busy. What you've been working on?
I've been working on that.
And a 109.
109 G6, and fair, I've only been doing it for, I think I started it today, and the cockpit's pretty much, is that the way you can see it or not? Pretty much together. It's quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's ready to be buttoned up, and then I want to try and get it finished before turkey shooting fortnight, so Well, this week, next week to do it.
Otherwise, it might be part of the turkey shoot.
Nah, I'll get it done. I'm flying ahead with this. The hard bit's done, which is the cockpit, and then I've chosen a fairly easy-ish camo scheme to do on it.
Paint for it now.
I'm just missing the one colour, but I think I can make that up. It's a near dark green.
Right, what else we got? Robert's repainting his Westland Whirlwind monoplane at the moment. Very nice. What are your thoughts on the main Husky? Have you ever built it? No, I haven't. Don't know it that well, to be honest.
I've got one in the stash, but I've not built it. It is a nice kit.
The Meng tends to be,
so
yeah. I've built loads of Meng. Meng tends to be Meng's Meng. It's always dependable and reliable. So yeah, I quite like Meng. So I have no reason to think it's a bad one, and I haven't heard it's a bad one, which is usually the thing.
I can imagine it's going to be a fiddly kit because the type it's similar to the MRAP, isn't it? It's like that sort of thing, but be well detailed and be fiddly, and you get like interior detail and stuff with it. So it's going to be a fiddly kit, but
apparently gravity paints do a dark cherry. So there you go.
There you go.
They must be a rival to Zero Paints. And then Dave's asked me about the F4Es. They're in a container. Somewhere.
Yes.
They're supposed to be at the end of the month. So hopefully, but I've had an email through from Hobbyco about the state of the ports.
All right.
Apparently. So there's delays all over, which we know about anyway. So, and apparently my office still sounds like a toilet. Thanks for that. Take that as a compliment.
Give me a chance. He's only been in there a weekend.
Hey, if anybody wants to come and do some soft furnishing, knock yourselves out, because
at least it doesn't look like a toilet anymore.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a beautiful echoey space. I tell you why it echoes, because I have got a big hole there that needs sorting, because it's just going under the stairs. Where our stairs is, there is a massive sort of cubby hole type thing where I just put stuff, and until that's blocked off, it's going to echo because it just bounces into that and just echoes around. So it'll get done.
Gordon says after he's finished his Revel Tornado, he thinks he's going to need a Mojo build. Any suitable kits spring to mind?
Oh God, yeah. A Mac 2 Argosy.
Yeah. Yeah, that way you'll think that the actual Tornado was a Mojo build. Again, it's one of those things. It depends if you're thinking just something quick and fast and just go together. We were saying, obviously, if you're into aircraft, if you wanted to do something, just a quick, fast, really nice build, the Mustang, 48 scale Tamiya Mustang. It's one of those that goes together in an afternoon and you can paint it and all the rest of it. That's a great little Mojo build, that is. As I say, anything from Bandai tends to be fantastic for a Mojo build because they just go together, no problem. So, but it depends really what you're into. There you go. So Shadow Model says that. Are you a Star Wars fan? I know what he's getting at because he's going to say do Bandai because they are fantastic for it. I often find myself grabbing something Bandai just to do that.
Can I just say that Aqueous Mr. Hobby Green 006 is now in stock.
There you go.
How many you put in?
4. I didn't know how many you got.
I think there's 5 actually. We're going to put this one back on can.
I guess there was it.
Peter, I've got coming from PM down to me now a massive pallet, I reckon, with all the kits for review on. So they should be here in the next 2 or 3 days. And then obviously I've got to work my way through to do them. But yes, so the Tornado 30-second one, I will do a review of it. So that's it. Has it left yet? Is it leaving today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Cool. There you go. So by Wednesday, Thursday. So if I can, I'll get that Tornado done for you sooner than later.
Right. And I'll put that in because you're going to need that.
Yeah, that will be very helpful because I need that on it. Can you mix it for me? In fact, can you come down and spray it? Fingernail polish. That's a good one. We often say about that, don't we? Fingernail polish. The cherry red.
All right, okay.
Enamels. Let's go down that route.
Armour Hobbies Hurricane.
For a quick build, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything from them.
And then Tony's put, apparently Felixstowe are diverting cargo to Rotterdam due to being over capacity. And understaffed, obviously.
Our container was in Rotterdam, wasn't it, when it should have gone to Felixstowe, so perhaps that's why.
Yeah. Could be all, oh dear.
Yeah, Gravity paints do different colours. Toyota Black Cherry Pearl touch-up paint. 3P2 touch-up paint is an option.
Andy can read David's figure out on our chat. No, you can read it out loud, Andy, so everybody can hear.
Yeah, we're supposed to all be sharing the joke.
I'm supposed to read it to yourself. Has he muted himself?
Andy, read it out.
Right.
Huh?
I'm making early predictions for the turkey shoot. Phil will make a model in 2 days better than the rest of us can do in a month. Whatever Matt builds, someone will point out that he should have built the bison instead. Nathan builds something with a cross on it, quite probably. Comrade Bullet is too predictable, but to bother predicting, and Andy will start 3 kits, 2 which will be the same. To top it off, if I finish my model, someone will say it's not finished because I haven't done the rigging, but I'm still not going to do the rigging.
Fair enough. That's about it, isn't it? That sums it up.
That's what we do.
I could honestly say that mine will probably be a Tamiya.
With a radiator this year.
With a radiator.
I'm doing an Angry Phoenix or 2 on a nice display stand with acrylic. That's my plan.
I don't even know what Tamiya I've got in stock. I might do a what's the Delta Wing US Navy?
A Skyray.
Skyray, yeah.
Well, you got one?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I have. Because that's basically all white, isn't it?
Well, it's just, yeah. It's just. Is it? I thought it was gold grey, isn't it? It's like gold grey,
it's
isn't it?
gold,
really...
light gold with the white underside, white bits, but it's actually light gold grey and white, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh no, it needs to be one colour.
Well, that's it.
He's trying to keep it simple. Failing that, you can finish off the Buckeye.
Can't.
I can't. Canopy's knackered.
Yeah, you can get another canopy.
That you can.
The special hobby still flog it.
Oh, talking of this, different. So, did you see Adam Savage's show where he made the Iron Man suit?
No.
Oh God, it's on one of the Discovery channels. I watched it the other day. Me and Leslie were watching it, and he properly built an Iron Man suit out of titanium.
Oh, right.
Was testing it, and I know the English guy who flies around with his jet on.
Yes, yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
He flew it.
Oh, right.
Trying to get Adam Savage to fly it. He wanted to fly it properly, but I don't think he could get a grasp of flying. He did a little bit, but I think he only had so long to do it, so that's going to take a lot of practice, isn't it? So in the end, the guy who owns the jet suit sort of thing put it on and flew it. Just really good.
I know that jet suit on them, didn't it? They gave it to paramedics who've been trying it out on the hills, so they could just zip up the mountain and get there all freshed. So they just rack up and go, huzzah, it's I. How's he going to get you down? That's the problem.
Have you seen the one where he's flying off the back of Queen Elizabeth?
Yeah, it's the other one. Yeah, he flies off the carrier, isn't it?
Yeah, but the problem is he's got his jet things on his own. So how does he actually? What's he going to do if they start shooting at him? Can't grab a gun, can he? Or...
Hey, with his titanium suit on, he's bulletproof. Yeah,
build a 480.
Anyway, what Dave's put. Have you seen Adam Savage's review of Bandai's 144 Saturn V?
Yes, I've seen that. It's not a. It's not a
kit, it's pre-built.
It's not a model kit, yeah, it's pre-built, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, they're pre-built. They don't make them like that. So, any recommendations for a good drill sander bit set for the Master Tools drill, which arrived safely today? Thank you, Matt. As I say, to be honest, you haven't seen the review yet. You will do shortly. It is done. It's sat there on YouTube. But for me, I quite like, as I say, good thing to have for it is a set of these, which they call them wood carving bits. Again, this is one of those things. Don't be fooled for buying genuine, because it's all crap. It's actually wood carving bits. So it's these. So these are big ones, but they go down in size. I get it out. Okay. So it's these for it. These are really, really handy because they're great for deburring. That's why it's got one in it. But I've got all different shapes. I've got literally hundreds of these things. But they go down to really, really small ones, which some people call for stressed skin. But you can buy these literally like a £5 for a set like this. This is my expensive set, to be honest. But I've got cheaper ones, like the one that's in it. And in here, I'll just grab a handful because they're just all loose. You can get them. Tiny little ones. And again, little ball ones, which some companies would charge like 15 quid for these things, but you can get them really, really dirt cheap. So these are great tools for having, especially because this thing is quite slow. So when you are using it, it won't hurt your skin.
There you go.
Yeah.
The jeweler's tools, aren't they? Or watching tools?
Something like that. You can get them, but they're good as well, jeweler's tools. And then obviously drill bits, you do pay for what you get with drill bits. So don't be fooled thinking, oh, I'll just get a really cheap set. Obviously, the other thing as well, you know how I like using my display ones? It's a little trick I've been doing for a while now. But you can put in, obviously, reamer bits like this into these, which is the nice thing with it. So you can pop these in and put reamers into them. There, if I just, where are we? That one. So you can actually just put reamer bits in here. But you can see there's no wobble at all on that. It's good stuff on these. And you can cut things. So you'll see it in the review. I bang a reamer in this and we cut up Buster. He gets a nice good chunk out of him with it. So, you know, for various things. So yes, they are. I must admit, it's one of those things where you could spend an absolute fortune and go around on different tools. I don't think you have to go right over the top. But with drill bits and stuff, it does pay for what you get. So if you're cutting through plastic, for instance, reamer bits, and like high-speed steel bits, you know, pretty much just get yourself a selection box of them and off you go with it. But these, they call them wood carving bits. That's what you're looking for in the keyword. But if you put it in wrong, you end up with some very, very expensive ones, which you don't really need. But yes, don't buy too cheap because they just break. But good ones, very good.
So we just had some info on the F4E.
Yes.
Should be here by the end of the month, 30th. So barring anything drastic happening, they should be here by the end of the month. So there you go.
Cool.
And the Ryfield Challenger as well, I think. It's all coming. The containers are coming through. Apparently, that's from Gary the Tiger. So happy days. Titanium. Good stuff.
So we've got here, is that Panchi? Just joined from Canada, great channel. Then he says down here, beginner's question, does anyone use a Dremel rotary tool? Yes, we've all got different versions of them. I used to use this one here, which is just one of the Rotorcraft ones. And then down in here, I got the big boy somewhere. I got one of these ones. That way. Got a big one as well, which has got one of those necks and everything.
Look at the size of that bloody thing.
I know, that's like the size of my old one. Yeah, but I got a smaller one, which I thought was really handy because I just needed something small, but I've never been happy with it. That makes sense. So then we've ended up with these, which is, say, because it's pen-like and it's a slow speed, so it's not just melting its way through.
Say, here we go. Look, here's a bit of a comparison. Yeah. I don't think. Well, I have used this Dremel, but not very much, to be honest. It's just.
And I've got a Dremel.
Yeah.
With a.
I've got one of them as well for mine. Never used it.
Yeah, I've got that on mine.
I've also got an old vintage Dremel that works really well. Goes down to hardly anything.
Mm.
It's got like a Matt's Proxon, where you get like a separate box with it. You know, the Dremel I've got, the other Dremel's got like that, but normally this one works okay.
But yeah, but as I say, one of these, it's one of those things where, you know, we've just had them in, but you can see nice and slow, or what you're looking for is something going slow, because the trouble with all these things is if they're running too high, it's melting its way through, not cutting. Or definitely, if you want something to be sanding and that, it's got to be quite slow, because as soon as you get over a certain RPM, they literally just melt their way through.
I think that's probably proper Dremels. Like what I've got, they are too fast and too powerful. You need. So then they're perfect, aren't they? Those trumpeter ones.
Yes.
You need hobby tools, don't you? Not like industrial.
Yeah. I always fancied like dentist drills, you know?
Yes.
But the trouble with those is that they're really expensive, full stop. You can't find a cheap option for dental drills, but I thought a dental drill would be good because you could hook it up to your compressor. But you can't use a hobby compressor for it because these things use a lot more PSI than your standard.
Compressor for that, you'd
like
need about
50 PSI you're going to get out your hobby compressor.
Exactly. Yeah, they take up a lot of air, them little drills and stuff do. But that thing you use them little. I've got one here somewhere.
The little battery powered ones, yeah.
Yeah, they're all right for certain jobs. I don't, you know.
They're good for little sanding and polishing things, but as you say, you wouldn't want to be going around drilling with them and stuff. But there you go. Jayton says, my local hobby shop's got F4Es. So here we go. Everyone's got them but us. So where are you? Where in the world? That's the point. You in the UK? Because as far as we know, they're not in the UK yet. That's the point. We've been just waiting for them to make it here on a slow boat, definitely from China. You imagine it turning up on like a sampan or something, isn't it? Or they're rowing it in, you know. We're here.
Say from that thing, it's just problems at the ports as well, really, with staffing and all that lot. And obviously with Brexit coming, they're in a bit of a mess from what the email we got from Hobbyco today. So, you know, they've got a load of empty containers that I don't think they can get shut of, and then they've got a load of full ones that they can't get shut of. So it's just backlogging the system. And I think there's some IT issues as well, but you know, it is what it is, isn't it?
Yes. What is the process you go through to gloss clear coat on a car? Here you go, Matt. You're definitely the domain.
Say again, sorry, what was that? Just reading.
What's the process you go through when gloss clear coat in a car?
As in what the mixing ratio is? What air pressure?
A lot, I assume. Just your process you go through.
Depending on what I'm using, as in if it's 2-pack or just single pack lacquer, obviously go through the recommended ratios for what you need. So normal 2-pack lacquer is sort of 2:1 to a bit of thinners, 20%, 10% thinners, and then I normally put on a gripper coat, which is a 3/4 coat. Let that flash off 5-10 minutes, depending on your temperature as well. And then a good full wet coat, and that's a trick with lacquer: keep it wet and don't be scared of it. Same with if you're using GX100, 50-50 mix of that and keep it wet. Put a coat on, keep it nice and wet, let it dry, another one, and build it up. Because obviously, being a lacquer-based product, as in the GX100 is, it'll eat into itself. Just build it up like that. So, yeah. But just make sure your prep works good.
Yes. T-Jan's down under. That's the trouble. Australia gets everything out of China really quickly. The rest of the world seems to be literally, the boo say that's down to ships and things in the wrong place and containers not being around.
You said ships, didn't you?
Yeah, that's definitely ships.
Ships.
Hi Phil and team, is there a kicker that you can recommend since the ones are out of production with Vital Bond? To be honest, cheap, very cheerful, but it does the trick. So literally, this is just Everbuild. It's industrial, but it just works, just does the job, and it doesn't make everything go white and foggy and all that stuff like that. So bonds in 10 seconds. But yeah,
Yes.
it's one of those. Just don't use the Zapper Gap one, because it makes everything turn white.
Makes everything smell. It's proper. I think I've got some Zapper Gapper in the shed, and it's vile stuff.
I've got 2 cans of it, but I won't use it because it makes things go chalky and white and horrible. So
it's best to decant them in it and just sort of.
And to be honest, that's what I do with this, because this thing, it comes out, it literally just like everywhere. You can't spray your model with it, so I decant it into a plastic cup or into the lid, and then just take it from that, because as I say, this is way too big for doing it. It's not like when we have the hobby ones, the little pump ones, so there's a nice little, just a little spray that'll flood everything instantly. So you might have seen when I did the bowcaster, that's how I was doing it with that. But it's all right on something, that 1-to-1 scale bowcaster's fine, because when you're blasting it all over for kicker, it's okay. But if you were doing a little object, you would just flood it instantly.
Yeah. Got a question here. It looks like Attacker or restock, but 66 and 44 are unavailable. Are they sold out already, or due to be stocked? They're due to be stocked. They're due to be back in stock, should be by the end of the week. So I've done it today, sat there, sorted them all out, put them back in we've got. To be honest, I need to do a bit of a stock check on Attacker. I've got a list of what's out and make sure it is out of stock and the stock levels are right. So as you can see here, list I've got to go through, but we have got some outstanding from the orders from last week that are obviously waiting for other items to come in to fill their orders. So I'm going to pick those, and then I can do a proper stock take, which I could probably do tomorrow. Now I'm pretty much on top of stuff.
That usually involves either me or Phil at the other end of a phone.
Chatting.
Yeah, that'd be the one.
Well, to be honest, you might be being redundant because I've got the laptop now. I can sit out there in the laptop and do it.
You can do it on his laptop.
So, and then Dave's put, I had an email from AK the other day referencing the new mini base 148 FU33 Flanker D. It looks highly detailed, but I've not heard of mini base before. Have you guys any thoughts on this kit? I was looking to get the Kitty Hawk kit, but I'm now in 2 minds. Tell him, Phil. Tell him.
To be honest with you, I would wait for the mini base one. The mini base one are a new company, but we have a feeling. I can't say it because I don't know. I'm speculating they're involved heavily with another company. And we're thinking it may be just another name for them. I don't know why, but a certain company tends to throw around different names for different areas of the business. And I've got a feeling it's definitely one of theirs. It looks like theirs. It looks like they're plastic all the way through. As soon as we get any proper info, I will go in depth with it. But that's where I'm thinking. So it should be good. Is it going to be better than the Kitty Hawk one? The Kinetic one? Then I would say it is. Looking at it, me and Matt did a whole show on it almost a couple of months back, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we looked at the parts, we looked at the part breakdown and all the various things to it, and it looks fantastic. It's got 2-stage flaps with it, which are very, very nicely detailed. The cockpit looks good, everything else looks good. And considering what they normally do, I think it'll be all right. It should be fine right the way through. And the options in the box look fantastic. It looks like one of those kits you could just build straight out of the box. You're not going to need anything else. Beautiful wing fold sets on it as well, which really drew my eye. I'm going to get one. And again, it just looks like, for whatever reasons, AK are going to be the distributor for it. So seems a little bit weird, all of that, but there you go. We will see how that one all pans out.
Yeah, we'll have to see who the UK distributor is, if there is one.
Well, I think they might just keep going through AK, but seeing as AK seem to be on a thing about buying everybody up at the moment and taking over the world.
Obviously, they're going to cover the EU, aren't they? We ain't going to be in the EU by end of the next month.
Yeah.
So somebody's got to distribute it over here.
Mm-hmm.
Gary.
Yeah, Gary, are you listening? Get him in,
watching. Mate. I know he's watching.
Oh, he's watching. There you go. Go be on his laptop now. Go find him. The Airfix Beaufort, which was scheduled for September, still not released. That's got to put back to next year, I think.
Yeah, it's next Feb, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Will says Gordon, they're out in January, apparently.
Oh, January is it? There you go.
101, the Christie 101. They're out in the UK. I've got an F4, that is. Oh, where'd you get it from then? Who? Where? Who's stocking it? Who's importing them, in other words?
Yeah, because somebody's listening and he will not be happy, I can tell you. James is gassing off more slowly.
Is it?
Chat, apparently.
That's what you need. You need to gas off. It is important. Otherwise, you'll get cracks.
More slowly.
Phil, what is the process for rejoining the site and retaining my profile, etc.? Depends how long ago you remember, Ian. That's the thing. If you remember before we made the switch to the new system, the chances are you may have lost your profile unless you got a load of posts on it. The people who got like, you know, a couple of thousand posts and has left, theirs will stay on there forever. If you didn't have any, so it's not that important for you to restart, then chances are it got deleted and you'll just have to go again. Easiest way, just pop your username in and your password as you did before. If it comes up and says you need to subscribe and pays your money and all the rest of it, then it's still there. If it doesn't have a clue who you are, then it's probably been deleted. Any update on Hataka sets? No, we're not getting them. Not until they fix their bottling problem. Their leaky bottles. They fix their leaky bottles, we'll stock them again. Till then, they're on their own.
Post is here. I'm going to have to go post.
Go on then. You can leave it in.
She'll be in a minute. When she comes round, I'll go and let her in. To be honest with you, we've done the single ones and then no hassle.
We'll say we've never had a problem with the single bottles we do. But
yeah, I don't know. I might make some inquiries to see, but yeah, we've got other things to prioritise at the minute, haven't we? So we're planning on. So right, see you back in a moment. Just gonna give her these boxes so they can
yeah, but 101 the Chris. Yeah, but what was the company? What company was it who you bought it from, the kit from? He says the second importer from Zucamori, found them on the Zucamori website under UK Friends section. Yeah, go on, name the company though. Any update on the Great Wall Hobby kits? Andy, any ideas?
Gary?
I think we need a window with Gary on
sure.
here.
In fact, I think invite him onto the.
Yeah, we'll get Gary on. So yes, as I say, he's the importer. So we are literally waiting on containers. It is as simple as that. As soon as the containers land, clear customs, get in. I'm sure Gary will be on it straight away.
I think he has sent Matt an update some time ago. I've got his. Have a quick look. Oh, crikey. These ones, I must. It could take me ages to find. Matt, what's the man?
Yeah, they just ask about Great Wall Hobbies. When will it be in?
New Year now, I think.
There you go, New Year's.
It's delayed with again, containers and stuff, so it's going to be probably January. What?
It's all right.
What do you read that bit?
Fact,
no, it's not that.
Segue.
Apparently, Tiger Hobbies is the second on the list where the kit came in from. Which, if you haven't guessed, that's who we're talking to. So it wasn't from them. The Hobby Shop in Kent. Is that the company name, was it? I was going to say, because it didn't come from Tiger Hobbies, because that's who we're talking to here.
Oh, he's the importer. So
yeah, he's the importer. That's the whole point.
So you've just told him who's now watching that you've just got that. So yeah, I feel sorry for them. Oh dear.
There was another question here. I've just missed it. Oh yeah, Stuart was saying that he's bought a new Hataka paint set and the bottles now have an orange top and the previous ones were black. It's the orange ones that leak. That's the thing. They changed them over and have done it. So
well, they've colour coordinated them to the sets.
Yeah, they are coloured. So you got orange top for the orange ones now. So that's how they've sort of done it.
So the black ones aren't much better.
Yeah, the black ones used to leak as well, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. Perhaps it's just a bad batch, we'll see, but yeah.
Can I just mention that we've got the Airfix Crusaders, both versions, and also the Great Wall Hobbies.
Cromwell.
Hey?
The Cromwell.
Sorry. Cromwell. The Airfix Cruiser tanks, Cromwells, are now up for pre-order, and also the B-52 Great Wall Hobby is also up for pre-order on the website, on our on Foil Models website.
Okay. Get it done.
So who's first on the list then on the Zucamori site? Because apparently they've got them in and they've got them in stock.
Gary's the official importer.
Apparently he's number 2 on the list with Zucamori. The number 1 person's got them in stock, apparently. They've got them on their website.
Oh, hey. I don't know that then.
So it's in stock in the hobby shop. Okay, so Peter's saying, what's the latest on the update arrival? Say we're not very good on this, guys, because we just get told the same as everybody else gets on the Airfix, Buccaneer, and the Vulcan. The Vulcan's definitely next year. Buccaneer, I imagine, might see it before the end of the year.
Yeah, that's cool. You've got to take release dates now and due dates with a pinch of salt, because things can change within a day of shipping, just dispatch, whatever. So, I won't look too much into it while we're in the middle of a pandemic. It's, your guess is as good as ours when things turn up, to be honest. You get dates and stuff, but then they can be delayed for whatever reason. So, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Apparently it's called The Hobby Shop, 122 West Street, Faversham, Kent, ME13 7JB. Go get him, Gary. Right.
Yeah, we're getting some more scrapers in. James, definitely. We can't get enough of them, because I've got a feeling we're going to be ordering some more of them mini drones as well. So, and Lars has got his your old Skymaster turned up in Denmark. Auction, Skymaster, big plane, 4 engines.
Oh, right, that one.
The Rebel kit,
The Rebel kit. Sorry, I was thinking of something else when you said Skymaster. Yes. Yeah, yes. The C-54 thing.
That's the one.
Yeah.
He's very happy camper.
I'd be very wary because they're showing that everything is in stock.
Well, the guy there said he's just bought it.
Yeah, has he got it though, or has he just bought it?
I don't know. He says he's bought it and he's got it. Yeah. Have you actually got it in your hand? We'll see. The Sea Vixen's been put off. It's been cancelled out, isn't it? They scrubbed it.
Yeah, they binned it.
So the Sea Vixen, they couldn't get a production slot, and so it's been binned off for the moment until they can probably get more put in.
Yeah.
Yeah. DJ saying same thing here. Re-attacker paint leaks. Mine were all orange lids and one catastrophic leak in the shipment. And most of the others filled the lid when shaken. Yeah. He puts them into Tamiya bottles. Yes. Unfortunately, I'll be honest with you, we have emailed, spoken to, complained, you name it, we've done it about their bottling to get them to fix it. And it does seem to fall on deaf ears because we never get a response out of them, which is, to be honest, very annoying. Not being funny, when you push the product and we sort of championed it and they don't actually answer us is a bit annoying, to be honest. It's almost like they just don't care. And it winds us up big time, to be honest. I could have an entire rant for an hour and a half on that if you wanted to.
But life's too short. So
it is too short to have a rant and things.
It is, and it's a Monday.
Yeah. Yes, and I got in trouble on Friday's show, so I have to be good these days.
Why?
Well, you know why? It's because I said I'm upsetting anybody, and then before you know it, that's it.
Yeah. That's what you get for quoting some people.
I'm not doing it ever again. That's it. That's what you get for being political. I wouldn't call me political at all. There you go.
Politically incorrect.
The best thing about that, Dad here, not getting political, but we have a company that empties out your septic tank. He's got a poo truck, in other words. And on the side of it, he just says another tank full of politicians' promises. That's what it has on the side of the lorries. All of their lorries have it written on the side.
James has asked about the Trumpy diamond files. Are they okay? I think they're all right for the money. To be honest, the Tamiya one's the one to get. The Tamiya diamond, I think they do a really decent, because it wants it for cleaning photo etch.
Also, the thing is, I've got these here, these little ones just here, and these are diamond ones, and they're really nice when you just want to make a nice sharp edge on something. So if you're dealing with, say, like a bit of photo etch and you want to put, a mark in it or something else like that, or a groove, you can use those. But also, like, even on plastic, if you've got a situation perhaps it's a little bit softly molded and you would have put a perfect 90-degree, or a square or something in there, then the diamond ones are brilliant for it. Because obviously with the sander in that, it's just too big, it's too cumbersome to get in there. But with those, you can get right in where you want to go. Tim says, strange, he's had 20 or 30 sets of orange and no problems. It's just really is luck of the draw. It is a pot luck. We've sold thousands and thousands and thousands of bottles of this stuff over the years now, and thousands of sets. And we have an average that goes through which leak. But singles, we don't have a problem with. It's just sets. So that's why we just do the sets and not the, we just do the singles and not sets.
Yeah, Lars said it was the C54 Skymaster that he bought on the auction. Have you built one of them, Phil?
No, that was Phil.
That was mine.
That was Phil.
He sold my kit.
No there then, is there?
I'll never get a chance to now.
Yeah. Oh, apparently. Oh God, this F4 thing's going to get a bit out of hand, I reckon. Somebody else is advertising that they've got them in stock. I'm not going to say the names, but on our chat. So yeah, in the UK, shall we say?
Oh right, there you go.
So we don't want to go down this road because it's nothing to do with us. Who's, we know where ours are coming from, and it's all legit. So we'll leave it at that. So
I think at the end of the day, people just have to understand is that we buy from the UK importers for it. That's why we get our kits from. There is other companies out there who don't, and they'll buy direct and they'll go round importers and things like that, which technically is a bit of a no-no. You get your knuckles wrapped for doing that. Because that's the whole point of having an importer and going through the official thing. Another thing people have to understand is that technically, if you've got like a missing part of your kit or a mismold, you've got to go back to that other company. Whereas normally it falls on the responsibility of the importer. We'll have various kits available for you to get replacement decals, photo etchy bits and all stuff without having to go right the way down. So that's why you tend to sort of support your importer. It's important just for an overall, experience to make sure it all goes well.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, to me, it does things like belittles the importer, doesn't it?
Well,
if they're the official importer of that manufacturer, well, then that's really where you should be getting your stuff from, isn't it? To me, just opinion in it, but yeah.
Josh says, will you be getting the new tooled 172nd Special Hobby ME109?
Yes, it would be a stock item. It's a 109. A 109 always sells, doesn't it? It does look a nice kit, actually.
Yes.
It does look quite small. It's got
new tool, is it?
Yeah, it's one Nathan won about the other day. It's an E. It's an early E, I think.
Oh right, yeah.
So, yeah.
Opinions on the 32nd scale Revel Tornado, please. Well, I've got one winging to me at the moment for review. We've got them in stock at the PM store, has them in. They look very nice. I don't know anybody's built one yet, so I can't comment from that point of view. I'll do a review. If it turns up, it should get here hopefully around about sort of Wednesday, Thursday. I'll do a review on it straight away.
Has he said the Revell one or the Italeri one? Because you've just said Revell.
Yeah, sorry, Revell. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, good point. Perhaps he was thinking of the new one as well. Okay, so the Revell one is a good kit for its age.
But it's showing his age.
But it's showing its age. How old is that kit anyway when they did it as a GR1?
1970s, isn't it?
Is it as old as that?
No, I think it's 90s, isn't it?
I thought it was early 90s when it came out.
I think so. And he's built it. He's got one downstairs, and if he's she'll bring it up for him in 100 pieces.
Hey, what?
Get that shell to bring it up for you.
1985 first came out.
There you go. So yeah, it's
Oh
1985.
no, sorry, New Tool. No, that was old one. New Tool, 1996.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
So it's 90s.
I'll go and fetch it.
Don't break it.
I'm not breaking it.
You know,
Very nice.
Look at that, right? Racing snake the way he's run down the hallway.
You'll wait to trip up coming up the stairs with it. You'll see it fly through the air and hit the wall. So yeah, so obviously if you're comparing it for the old one, there's a couple of little things you can do to sort of upgrade it. But generally, I think, you know, from one, I built one many moons ago, and I just bunged it together. It was a quick commission job.
Yeah.
But I haven't gone to town like some of the guys do with the photo etch that's available for it and all the aftermarket. Mine was straightforward out of the box. And it is typical Revell. It's a little bit flashy. It's got the odd little fit issue, but nothing that, you know, for the money, I think it's a bargain. Especially when you think the new one is how much? 130?
140.
140. There you go.
And that's about 30 quid, isn't it?
Not sure about the colour.
Yeah. Is that extra?
A bit dusty, but
is that extra acrylics?
yeah. It's out of
It's
the box.
got genuine museum dust on it.
Yeah. Apart from the seats, it's out of the box thing.
You said there's a lot of aftermarket for that.
There is a load of aftermarket for them. That's the nice thing for it.
Oh, and the pitot tubes.
Pitos and it'll be obviously nice to see what the Italeri one looks like when you do a review and see what you think.
Again, it'd be interesting to see how much of a leap it is compared to that one. You know,
Yes.
because that thing's got everything you could want. It's got recessed panel lines. It's got, you know, all the stuff in there. It's just obviously the new one. It's got a very nicely detailed wing slat and flat system and everything on there.
Yeah.
It does look very nice, and the way that like reverser buckets and stuff like that are always look very nice on the new one. Is it worth 140 quid? There's a lot of plastic, as you can see there. It's not a small jet.
No.
I mean, that's a fuselage of a 48-109. It's huge.
It's a large lump.
Yeah.
You're saying looks gorgeous, Andy.
Thank you. What, me or that?
I think he means the model.
It's the patina that it's got.
Yes, that's it. It's got genuine dust on it. Arabian dust.
Maybe it gets cleaned when it ever goes to a model show, and don't get as many of them. And then now
Well, this is it.
No, it just collects dust on the top of the cabinet, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's quite too big to go in it.
101 Chris says, didn't mean to cause a problem, but have you actually got one? That's the question. Have you physically got your hands on the kit? That's just the bit we need to know now. Or have you just got it ordered? Alan says, afternoon, Phil, Matt and Andy. Can you recommend a World War II night fighter kit? German or English?
What scale? Because you could do a
Say
Defiant.
48.
48, right. 48 English is Defiant.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know if you can do a Hurricane Night Fighter, can you, Andy? Does somebody do one, a version? I know the Armour obviously.
You do the Mosquito, can't you?
Mozzie's a Night Fighter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Both Fighter, was that? No? Don't know. Anyway, for 48, as in Luftwaffe, if you're doing German, then you've got a Ju-88, which is ICM. You've got the Juhu-Al, which is Tamiya.
Yeah.
You've got Dorniers, 215s, are there? 217s, they're night fighters. The Mosquito that the Germans built, which is an old Revell Pro Modeler kit, if you can get it.
But Revell do the 30-second owl as well, don't they?
Yeah, I built that upstairs.
Hold on. It says 1/32.
Right, the owl then, which is obviously Revell do one, Zekamori do one. JU88, Revell do an 30-second 88, but I think you'd have to convert it. You can get Ames conversions for them, for night fighters, I think. I presume.
Is that the Dragon Reebox?
No, it was on about 30-second. I'm on about Revell's JU88.
Oh, that's 48, isn't it?
But you need to convert it, and Ames do conversions. British stuff, I don't know.
So no one do a conversion for the Mosquito Tamiya one?
I don't know. I don't think so. Perhaps a night fighter one. I don't. They could. I don't know. I don't know. Is that obviously push me pull you thing? But that's a bit that Dornier that Oncom models do, and Sukimori do that as well, don't they?
The 5-foot.
Yeah, the arrow in it. I can't think of anything else. Not in 30-second.
Yeah.
Not in 30-second. Tony's put about P38 night fighter, but it's 48, not 30-second. Oh, I tell you what. Sorry, Trumpy do a LCAT night fight in 30-second. I'm trying to think, and probably a 262, don't they? Because the 2-seat 262 is a night fight because it's got radar on it, isn't it? The one you
that's the one I did. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm struggling now.
That's more than you think when you.
Yeah. As I say, if you want something, as I say, you can throw aftermarket at it. Like I did the wherever it is. There it is. Okay, so I did this one. And again, it's one of those you can literally throw aftermarket because there's loads of it available for it, or you can basically go straight out of the box. And again, even just out of the box, we just used a little bit of, colour photo etch on this one just to liven it up.
Yeah.
It's a big old lump.
Is it?
Eh?
I said it's quite a good kit.
It's a lovely kit. To be honest, I'm quite a fan of the Revell 30-second stuff because they're a great jump point. And you can add detail as you go.
Yeah, our lap was always a big lump, but it's all right. I prefer to build the Revell one than the Sukimura one where I've got to build every part. It gets a bit much, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because obviously, like doing the display, when we can do shows of Luftwaffe display that me, Andy, and Nathan do. You just put it on the table for somebody to look at from 2 foot away.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not like you're in a competition and need every rivet bolt. It's just obviously, this is what it is. We're on what was on about last night. Oh, Andy weren't on last night. We're on about me and Nathan were on about. I think one of the shows we're all gonna build like a 1/24 scale Luftwaffe kit. So and then 5 on the table, and then it's easy.
That's
it.
Hasegawa did a 109E night fighter.
Did that? Oh, right, okay. And James has just put up, Ames used to do a 188 conversion for the Revell 30-second JU88. The definitely night fighter conversions, the JU86 88 night fighter conversions. The thing around there,
it's coming up. Well, I've done a search and it's showing the Revell 109G6. I don't know whether or not there's markings in that to do a night fighter or not.
I don't know, loads in there. Focke-Wulf's in there for 190.
Yeah, I was going to say the Focke-Wulf was used as a night fighter a lot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, Gordon's saying now we have a vaccine. Not yet, we don't.
No,
The model show should surely be starting again soon. I think it might be another year yet until we're getting somewhat back to normal by the time they get it rolled out, which goes to the point. I've got a box full of those quick 12-minute tests here. So if anybody'd like to buy a test, it does look like a pregnancy test kit, to be honest, because obviously Tam's my other half. She's got them because of work, because she has to be tested sort of 2 times a week now. So
have you had a test then?
I don't have to, but obviously if she did, I would have to have it. But we got the box of test kits. They all got them yesterday, so they've got like a month's supply of test kits. But they look like a pregnancy. You've got a long swab, and you've got the solution, these little vials, and it literally looks like a pregnancy test kit. So we said if you get 2 lines, you're pregnant. They were pointing out to obviously the guys, you're not pregnant if you have 2 lines, but you have got COVID.
Got pee on it? Hey.
Mm.
I said, have you got to pee on it then?
No, you don't. They were saying don't pee on it either. They've done like a video on how to do it.
Rebel
it's
do a
30-second
BF 110.
Oh yeah, the 110. I forgot about a 30-second 110. There's dragons in it, that is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's loads out there. We just
and Rebel have done a Focke-Wulf 190 Night Fighter, 30-second.
Yeah, they did. There's one after the one you built.
Yeah.
Shadow Model says, how do you offer input to aftermarketeers? He's got 20 years experience on the C-130 with many variants of the new ones, which some of the items look like a build of LC, MC, HC. To be honest, again, it's one of those things where I think they have their own people that sort of, you know, like yourself, probably got in contact with them, and that's how they started the ball rolling, because obviously they get as much information and stuff through that they can possibly get. Obviously, it's a little bit more tricky for Chinese companies because of state laws about who they're dealing with and also who you would be dealing with as well. So that's when some things do fall short, because I know a few people who have been involved with Trumpeter over the years. And it's still difficult to get information back and forth and stuff from that point of view, even though you can just look it up online, most of it. But your best bet is to literally just make an offer to them. So you just write to aftermarket companies and say to them, look, you know, this is me, this is my credentials, you know, and all the rest of it. I've got references, and that's really what it's about. It's not so much they need your knowledge, they'll need references and stuff. So if you've got all the references on it and stuff like that, then yeah, go for it. Obviously, if you're active, because we've got friends of ours who are active in like the RAF and that, I know it can be a little bit of a problem with them because they're active. They're not allowed to physically divulge information for various things. Obviously, we're not just talking about frontline combat aircraft, but also support aircraft as well. So, you know, you'd have to make sure from your side you're covered as well. So you'd have to speak to your people just to make sure, for like your publicity departments and stuff like that, that you're okay to speak about or to divulge information to obviously protect yourself from getting into trouble. But yeah, I would say have a word with your boss or whoever, make sure it's okay. If you are retired from that particular thing, have a word with your old media department just to make sure. And then I would just write a letter or shoot an email in Modern World over to them with, you know, perhaps some information just to whet their appetite a little bit and see if they bite, you know. But the thing is, there's lots of people doing it. That's the thing, you know. And again, sometimes I know what it's like. It can be really frustrating because we've got friends of ours who are in, you know, I know somebody who works with Hercs. And it's that thing where you've probably got better information than it would seem the company's got. You know, and you're like banging your head against the wall because, like, if you'd asked me, I would have got it right for you and stuff like that. And sometimes they just don't seem to. It's almost like they're a bit blinkered with it all. But again, sometimes if you're looking at it and you've got the kit in front of you saying that's wrong, it's way too late, because that design thing would have been years ago, or maybe like 2 years in front when they needed to know that information, because they're not going to change it now because it's tooled or something else like that. But for aftermarket, if you wanted to help out with that type of thing, it's just a case of getting involved with them. No, it's this one. I like to leave it on your head. It's only because I've got it on multiple screens and I've got an overlap. It's like a fly.
It sounds like a cat.
I was moving my mouse. Thought, oh, hang on a minute.
Okay, and then last up, Chris says he's got that physical F4E sat in front of him from that company.
Okay.
So they obviously are in.
Okay. I've got a question here. Hi, Flory team. Can I ask, after painting armour, should you apply a gloss coat before setting decals? If so, can I use Umbro gloss coat through an airbrush? Right. This is the way I do it, and how these do it is up to them. I put it on Tamiya XF 35 semi-gloss clear, and then decal. to be honest, because I use oils and probably enamel products more than armour, then obviously Humbrol is an enamel product, so it will just eat into it. So I want something as a barrier. So, and I've never used Humbrol gloss coat. I don't even think I used it back in the day. So depends what you're weathering with as well. If you're going over it with Phil's wash, you'll be absolutely fine. With a clay-based wash, will be perfect for weathering. But yeah, if you're using oils and stuff, just obviously be aware that enamels, it will eat enamels. So I think, to be honest, because armour don't really have so many decals, you're not as critical as on an aircraft for a gloss coat. So I think semi-gloss is adequate enough as a barrier. Oh, so that's just my opinion. What about you?
No, I agree. You know, as I say, it's just always that thing. Sometimes when you get into the weathering phase, you want something as a barrier. Obviously, if you've got, you know, coats underneath, if you're using the clay wash, it's absolutely fine. But if you're using perhaps oils and stuff and you're coming in with enamel thinners and that, you're going to need to have a barrier. Otherwise, you're going to start eating into it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Especially if you're wiping around and stuff, it, you know, you're going to be waking it up and moving it and agitating it, and you want to be very careful at that point. You know, personally, if you would go back, and this is probably how, you know, obviously your skill set changes over the years, but if you go back 20 years, I used to put a clear coat, like clear, in between everything. It was like literally, you know, primed it, clear coat, first coat on, clear coat it, you know, next coat, you know, if I'm doing like a 3-tone camo, clear coat between everything. It's a wonder it wasn't that thick. You know, literally, you could cut it in half and go through the rings of all the colours it had. And that's what I used to do, you know, and say you get to decals, clear coat before, clear coat after, weathering, clear coat. You know, how it's not like artificially thick now with all these different layers on it, it's beyond me. Now, it's very rare I do it. You know, it's very, very rare. And especially, you always used to be that thing, finish the model. If it's something like an airliner, obviously gloss coat. If it's something, you know, sort of 30-second scale, especially satin coat or a flat coat, and that was it, and it was just fixed. Now I don't tend to do it. I don't actually overcoat at all, unless obviously with decaling, if it's something where the decals don't look particularly happy, I might put down a clear coat. But normally, even with decaling, I might just polish the area where the decal's going to sit and go straight down onto the paint as well. But I think that's because things have changed and moved on, as in the paint world and decals
the
world.
other thing as well, though, isn't it? You know, like say we'll take like Attacker and stuff. These are semi-gloss anyway.
That's what I'd say.
Obviously, the guns range is semi-gloss. When you get to obviously the Tamiya range and the 8K, they're flat.
Yeah.
But don't forget, you can also add some X22 to them to make them semi-gloss. There's no reason, and then you've eliminated, if you get it on smooth enough, you've eliminated them putting another like semi-gloss coat over the top of it. So
because I was going to say exactly the same thing. If I was using Attackers, I'd probably, because the semi-gloss, I'd decal first, and then I'd put a clear coat on top of it, on top of the decals afterwards, rather than putting a clear coat on before the decals. Because the paint's all right, so you shouldn't need a clear coat for the paint for the decals, but you need a clear coat for the weathering.
Definitely. But again, sometimes it's nice to put a clear coat down. Especially if you're new to the hobby and perhaps you're thinking about trying something new. I always say you should never try something new on a model you're working on. Always do it on a buster, because that way you can have a proper play with it and see exactly what you get away with. But you know, if I'm using something and I'm just not too sure, I'll probably pop a clear coat down. That way I've got a little bit of scrub room to get it off or to sand it back off or whatever it is, and then you're good to go. But generally, I must admit, I prefer just to go in. I find them go better. But as you say, modern paints now, like Tamiya being flat, isn't it, with the XF range, and you got your gloss, it's very black and white how it is. But other manufacturers of paints, they're more like satins. And say, even with the guns range, some are gloss, some are flat, some are semi. You know, so depending on the colour using, different effects to it. And obviously, like MRP, most of those are gloss. Or very, very good satin coat, shall we say, and stuff. So again, it's just depending on how it is. But when you're going into weathering, like me with the clay wash, I like it to have a bit of bite. So if I've done it in, say, MRPs and it's like gloss, I need to put a flat coat onto it, give it some bite, give it some texture, make it stick to it a bit better.
Yeah.
But even Tamiya paints, if you're using leveling thinners,
they go satin.
They go satin as well. So it depends on what you're doing and using, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alex says, question, what is your opinion on the Tamiya 148 scale Lancaster? I know it has raised panel lines, but that's accurate. So what's your opinion? To be honest with you, it's got a few little problems with that kit. I built many of those, especially when I did commission work. It was pretty much a staple one of it. It was released in March 1973, the year I was born. So, you know, it is coming up for 50 years old now. Really, really is a very nice kit, but it's not as perfect, I think, as a lot of the people think it is. One, yes, it's got raised panel lines, and technically, I know some of them would be raised in real life, but a lot of them would actually be recessed. What I tend to do is stick with them as raised because it's not a problem. But the nose bomb aimer's sight technically is incorrect. So you can get, though, quite a few VACForm aftermarket ones which actually give it the correct version of it. The top turret can be a little bit, the one down the back can be a little bit as well. So I tend to sink that because I find it just sticks too tall because I think they've got the wrong turret on it, the one they measured it up.
Hey,
and
that's the wrong way round.
Sorry?
Wrong on the turret. I've seen something like that. The top turret, they put something the wrong way round. So that's why it sits high. If you swap it'll be online, so you could look it up. If you swap the parts around or something, it sits lower, which makes it right.
Yeah, because that's what I do. I always cut it out and drop it to get it the right. Otherwise, it's sticking too far up. And the other thing, of course, is because they actually use the Hendon Lancaster for this. Obviously, museum ones, you'll see those like red calipers around the oleos, and that's basically to take the weight off of the suspension. Otherwise, obviously, it's pushing down the hydraulics, and over time they will sag because nobody's pumping them up like you do on an operational aircraft. So they put these calipers on and normally bolt it to the floor. But the thing is, it's standing too high because the aircraft, there's no weight in it, there's no fuel in it. So consequently, they put the calipers all on, and she is standing like that. Where in theory she should be a lot lower. Scale-wise, she should be something like 2 foot lower, but she stands too high. Now, this is all stuff that was brought up when it got released back in the day, I assume. And there was rumour going around in the 90s that they were going to retool it. But they weren't going to retool the body, but they were going to sort out the nose blister, the front, the bomb aimer's sort of blister on the front of it, the rear turret, whatever's wrong with that, and the undercarriage. But it never actually came to fruition. But that information was coming out of Japan at one point, because apparently they went round and remeasured another Lancaster to get all the correct bits off of it to make sure they were all good with it. But for some reason, it never came about. But it was going to be like a new boxing of it, so far and so forth. But apart from that, it's fine. The only other thing as well, some people say about, but it is correct for different versions. And again, it's because they use the one at Hendon, is that the tread pattern is incorrect for most Lancasters. It uses, is it a smooth wood tyre or something else? Because the one at Hendon's got tread. And it's all vice versa, one the other way around. But again, you can get all the parts for it, and it turns into something very, very nice. One of the highlights of that kit, of course, is the wings slide off because they're on giant wing formers. And when I used to ship mine, they shipped with the wings off. So you can put them in a shoebox, into a long box like this, quite thin, because the wings pop off and go in, and they fit beautifully once they are slid in, because they almost lock in and they go in absolutely fantastic. So that's a really nice one to do. But it is a very, very nice kit, and there's loads of aftermarket for it.
Can I just jump in a minute, because I've just got something, because somebody, I think Tim's on about the Challenger we've got on the specials with the damaged box. And obviously we've sent a few out, people's had them. The kits are fine. The different creasings to the box, if that makes sense. Some of the boxes are creased or slightly damaged or a bit dished on the top. Everything inside is perfect, because obviously we've sent out broken kits. I know some people bought them, and they're in chat. I think Tony's bought one, and he says his has got slightly creased. Again, for what they are, it's, you know, if you're not bothered about a box, then it's a cheap way of getting a chally in it.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're going to build it and not a collector, then yeah, like I say, you can guarantee the parts are absolutely perfect. So
yes.
So yes, just thought let them know while they're chatting.
Shadow Models is saying, I think he's talking about the Herc still. The upper wing has the A model wing. To be honest, we were more concerned about how did Zvezda release it without it being licensed?
Well,
because again, when it got released, if you look at any other aircraft manufacturer, Western, they've all got licensing, you know, Boeing and stuff like that on there. but obviously there's no licensing at all on the Zvezda stuff, and it's their first Western thing they've done. So we were saying perhaps they didn't bother. They've got special Mr. Putin's authority.
I know it's not printed on the box, but I can't see how they could have done it without having some. Can you? I don't know. I don't know how it works, obviously.
I don't know,
that respect. I don't know. That's if it's a thing, that's for the legal teams to sort it. It needs to be.
Yeah, again, with all of these things, sometimes you think, because Zvezda being Russia, like a lot of the Chinese companies, do they literally just think, do you know what? Stuff them. Yeah, what are you going to do? It is almost like that. Obviously, for us being, almost ex-members of the EU, obviously we're governed by lots of laws that you have to do. But some of these companies, sometimes you do think, do they? Do they just not stuff it,
Yeah, exactly. Tony's just put up as well, the H fans that were with damaged boxes.
Yeah.
He says, the H fan you sent me, Matt, was supposed to be a damaged box. I couldn't see what was wrong with it. It's great, thanks. That's just who owns Hobbyco, Pete. Literally, if there's the slightest, isn't there? Because he said it to us.
Yeah.
If there's a slightest mark in the box, it goes in one of the cages to be sold off. Because like he's put, he sells stuff that he would expect to receive himself. And I mean, the Lotus and the Tyrrell are the same. Because I've said to a few of them, I've looked at the box and I'm like, well, there's no wrong with it. You know what I mean? But there is. There's obviously a little.
So me and Matt go round the warehouse going, oh, look, that one just fell on the floor. Yeah. Sorry, is that one damaged now?
Yeah, look.
Put that in the cage. Oh, we'll have that. Thank you. Like the old like baked beans, wasn't
it? He showed me one. It's got like a mark on the bottom of the box, hasn't it? On the brown cardboard box. It was.
Yeah, it's got a crease. One of them. Yeah, I think it's what I showed last Friday, wasn't it? When we were showing the
RC stuff off, wasn't it? Yeah.
The Lotus. Yeah. Well, the RC. Well, that one's the one I've got the thingy. The one you've got's got a bit of a dinted box, but it's not.
Yeah.
Not bad, but I'm on about like the Ebro kits that we had in and the motorbikes. Some of them Honda motorbikes. I can't see the damage on the box. I'm like, I don't know. He's just fussy. He's fussy with it, and fair play. It's his company, and it's like he says, his reputation. If he starts sending out damaged boxes, and people
fair play to it.
Yeah, and that's why we have to put obviously slightly damaged box. To be fair, we have got one H fan that's got more than a slightly. I've got to show you actually. I'll go get it.
Squashed.
I'll go fetch.
Proper squashed. Tony says he must have better eyesight than me then.
Oh, this is it. The funny thing is, if you think like Hobbyco's a huge company, me and Andy and Matt, we all go there usually a couple of times a year, and
right.
It's amazing. The company's got a fantastic ethic.
Right, this is one of the slightly damaged boxes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you can see any damage on that box, you're better than I am because I actually can't. So all I can feel. Well, I can't, so I don't know. That there, there's a crease there, and I mean you can't see it, right?
Yeah.
That's one that we've got on the side that's going cheap. This to me is a damaged box.
Yeah, that's a damaged box.
That's a damaged box. Now this one we ain't got up. You can't buy this one because it's tatered. That's like the worst box I've ever had from them.
Yeah.
I presume the insides are okay because I did check it. But the boxes had it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like it is. But yeah, that's
a damaged box. Yeah.
That's a damaged box, isn't it?
That's auction fodder.
Yeah, probably will. But yeah, it's like if you've got an H fan, then that's the last one. So.
Correct the bill.
Last one of the slightly damaged box brigade, which is pretty much bang on to me. Anyway.
Okay, close to buying the Riffield Strom Mauser.
The what, sorry?
Strom Mauser? I don't know. STRUMMOSSER.
What's that then?
Anyway, with a full interior, just hesitated because it's got the 760 parts that makes up the tracks.
Whose kit is it?
Ryefields, yeah.
What was it again?
It looks like a Sturmmauser. He's put here. Mosser.
Mosser. Could do a Sturm Tiger with full interior.
Perhaps he means that. Anyway, with full interior and all the rest of it, but it's 760 parts that make up the tracks.
It's a Sturm Tiger.
His shape would full metal tracks fit like a Tiger. Perhaps it is a Tiger type then.
Yeah, I think it's Sturm Tiger. Yeah, it's called it's called a Tiger Morser.
Oh, there you go. Perhaps it's a
it's a mortar, isn't it? That's it. Yeah.
So anyway, would Tiger tracks for all Tiger tracks fit
it? As long as they fit the Ryefield Tiger, which you should be able to easy enough to find out because it'll be the same chassis as the normal Tiger. But the problem is that sometimes the drive sprockets are slightly different.
They put drive sprockets in, don't they?
Do they?
Yeah,
it should be a problem then.
If it's on about full tracks, is that what you're on about?
Yeah,
full tracks put the drive sprockets in if you need to change them. So you're better off buying your full tracks first if you're going to put them on to make sure that you have got the proper drive sprocket, because literally if you don't fit theirs then the tracks won't fit, basically, you know what I mean?
So what we're saying is go down the full tracks, because obviously there's 760 parts to make the tracks. So full will be a lot easier. Just drill them out and do them.
You could knock them together in a couple of hours with a nice little Dremel, clean them out, bit of filing, pin them, job done. Sit there in front of the TV or something and just clean them up.
Cool. That was the later Tamiya kit release. Had the bigger bomb aimer's blister in the front of the kit, had exhaust stacks for all the engine nacelles, and contained both types of props molded in grey plastic. Oh, perhaps they did upgrade it, but they never did the gear as far as I know.
Can't you just chop it?
Yeah, well, that's what you should do. You do chop them, and then that's what I used to do and replace them with metal. Just.
I was about to say, can't just drill them out and put some Elgin Alloy's finest tubing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
By the time that the post office gets the kits to you, the likelihood have been a lot more creases in the box. They'll let Johnny say that.
He's still working, so he won't be happy.
Well, this is it. Mind you, as Neil says, that's a Yodel box. That obviously the one you just had looked like Yodel's delivered it. Kick it in.
Yes,
it was. It was the Sturm Tiger.
Yeah, Sturm Tiger with full interior.
Yeah,
I prefer the one. Actually, do you know the other version? Because you reviewed the other version, didn't you? Has got the fighting compartment only.
Yes.
So you've got to do, if you want the hatches open or the top hatches, you've got that compartment, but you ain't got to build the rest of it. So I'd actually probably go for the other version. Seems better value than like you've done a full interior jobby tank, and it's just a waste of time because
it is like the King Tiger. You say, yeah. Alan says, "Hi guys, just purchased the Takom M9 Ace Earth Mover in 172nd FB432 and a Chieftain. Just waiting for them to arrive. Have you any reviews or done either of these kits experience building them?" Reviews are up because we reviewed both. I haven't done the Earth Mover though, I must admit.
That's 135th, isn't it?
Okay.
That Earth Mover's 135th. Isn't that the Dirt Diggler?
Possibly. What's the one I've got? Is that the main one down there?
I thought you'd done the Dirt Diggler film.
He might have done.
The Digger, I've got the main one.
You've got
the big... I thought you did the Dirt Diggler as well at some time.
Hold on, let me check. Reviews.
Takom seems to have gone like really quiet again at the minute. There's the little Chieftains because
there's the baby Chieftains.
And now you get the 432 with it because we've had them in. No,
look, a very young me.
Yeah. You ain't done a Diggler.
No, I haven't done a Diggler.
That's a
you
nice
get
little
slapped
kit,
for saying that round our way.
Yeah, it's
but anyway, to be honest, say we've done the review on the Takums there, the 72nd ones. They are great, and like with the 432, I've built that. Well, I've built them all in 35th scale, and they're great kits. Absolutely great. Go together, no problems at all. Very nice. But it's, to be honest, if you look at the review of the Chieftain, it's like a mini me. It's almost like they've literally just shrunk the 35th one down because it looks absolutely fantastic. It's a good kit. Good detail on that one.
Yeah, like thinking with Takum though at the minute, because I was looking, you know, at their range or what they did do, and a lot of them are either like obviously not in production at the minute, and they're not overly. They're doing a lot of 72nd stuff. They seem to have gone away from the 35th at the minute.
Yeah.
So, I'm just wondering because obviously that other company reboxed that Russian anti-aircraft thing, didn't they? That Hobby 2000.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if some of the, you know, like the Chieftains and stuff might come out through them because obviously they're discontinued and they were like brilliant kits.
Yeah, no, they. I must admit, as I say, we put the metal tracks on that. That's what I was just trying to remember on that one. And yeah, very nice kits. Highly recommend if you're new to armour as well. I know we talk about obviously the Tamiya ones, but those ones there are really go together. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
There's no airs and graces with them. It's good, solid design.
Yeah. So I've never built a Takum or a main kit yet in armour. It's a bit really bad, isn't it? I might have to pop me cherry.
Well, this is my Ryefield models popping me cherry on this one, to be honest. I should have thought it through.
Hey, that's going balls deep, mate, that one. Never mind.
I'll tell you what you need to do, Phil, is a Formula One car weathered like yesterday's Grand Prix.
I haven't watched it yet.
Aren't you?
I was going to watch it after this.
Surely you know what's happened.
I know what's happened, clearly, but I haven't seen the Grand Prix yet.
Yeah, some interesting weathering on them.
Do you have any plans to review the Zvezda 48 scale SU-57 when it eventually available? We're waiting on that one. We will do, because we do Zvezda. We have all their stuff in. So.
Because you reviewed the 72nd one, it's the little felon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or big felon.
Yeah, that's the big one. Yeah, I've done the baby one, done the 72nd.
Yeah. I quite like the look of their IL2 that's coming out, the single seat one. I think that'll be a rate, because the only other one is you've got the accurate miniatures, it's the only other one, isn't it? Because the thingy one's a 2-seat one, isn't it? The Tamiya.
Yes. Yeah, it's got the gunner, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, well, this one's obviously the single seat fighter one, isn't it? So, being the Revster, I think it'd be a nice little kit. Yeah.
Gordon says, does the second-hand kits on the PM site come from modelers, or is it just stuff that Phil, Matt and the guys are trying to sell off?
Well, there's only one kit in there at the minute. We pick stuff up or people come in the shop and say, do you want to do a trade? And obviously nobody's been in the shop nigh on all year. We've not been to any model shows. So, you know, it's very thin on the ground, the second-hand thing, and some of it just goes straight into auction anyway, doesn't it? We just auction it off.
I was going to say, most of it goes straight in the auction, really, isn't it, these days? I think you forgot about that one on the site, haven't you? Otherwise, it would have gone in an auction.
Yeah, it's just probably sat on the shelf. I mean, we might review the second-hand section and perhaps bin it off, I don't know, because there's a lot of other people doing it in there, let's be honest. So, well, there was. We'll see after the end of this, the other side, if they still are. But
like you said, if people do want to trade kits in, then it's sort of like a useful way of.
Yeah, the thing is, you've got to be aware of what your kits are worth, and that's where it gets awkward, isn't it, Phil?
Yes, we've had this before.
We've had
they're not being funny. Obviously, you guys, if you, always a big sticking point is VAT, because obviously we're a company, it's VAT, so everything we do is plus VAT. So obviously when you buy things secondly, there's no VAT for you guys, but for us as a company, there's VAT. So that's always going to be the sticking point. So people, obviously they pay, say you bought your kit for 100 quid and then you want to sell it, is obviously you have to remember is one, we're traders, so we get a trade price. which is less VAT. Then we add the VAT on afterwards and stuff like that. And by the time it comes around, it looks like we're being really, really tight. But that's just because we can, we have to charge the VAT at some point. So there's always 20% in VAT in all of it. So,
and plus as well, we've got to make money.
That's it.
So you're looking trade minus a percentage off our trade because it's a second-hand kit, and then the VAT, as it's just it's people think, oh God, you're taking the but it's not. It's just it's business at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's simple business.
If you're a PM member, then the best place to sell, Flora Models member, best place to sell them is in the for sale section at the bottom of the.
On the side, yeah.
Yeah, bang them in the forum.
Yeah.
Is Accurate Miniatures still a going concern?
No. Every man and his dog's got their moulds. I know at the minute Academy's got some of their moulds. I know Italy has released some of their kits. I'm sure somebody else has. I think Revell's released some. I think different companies have got different moulds. They keep popping up. Like the B25 keeps popping up, the Dauntless keeps popping up, the Avengers popped up.
Yeah.
The IL2's not long out, and I think it's still available from Revell. The Helldiver's not came up very much, has it?
No.
And the Devastator, the other early torpedo bomber thing that the US, and some others. So I don't know. I think the moulds have gone as a company. I think they're defunct. I think, like I say, I don't know who owns their moulds, but they do the rounds and other manufacturers re-release. I
was going to say every now and like, as I say, Italy.
Edard's released the Dauntless.
Edard's done some, yeah.
Edard's done it in special boxing, so Yak 3. Who does the Yak 3 in 48?
Zvezda and Accurate Miniatures.
Ah, right, because I've built the Yak 1.
We both did them at the same time, didn't we, without knowing?
Yeah, we did actually, yeah. To be honest with you, I think Accurate Miniatures, because they were like 90s, they were well ahead of
they were, absolutely.
They were proper good kits.
Yeah.
I know Andy's got a bit of a collection, haven't you, of Accurate Miniatures kits?
Yeah.
I must admit, I remember when their B25 came out.
Oh.
And it was like legendary, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like nothing had been seen like that before. Yeah. It was absolutely stunning kit. And as I say, their Pacific aircraft that they did, like the Avenger and Helldiver and that, they were absolutely well ahead of their time.
I mean, the detail of the cockpits and stuff just was, you didn't need aftermarket. You probably needed some seatbelts.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, the B25 now, if you can, it is available and stuff, is still by far the best one in 48.
Yeah, easily.
In fact, the Yak 3 isn't. I thought Yak 3 was Accurate Miniatures, and that's Edard's own kit.
Oh, right.
I thought it was a. So no, Edard and.
Yeah, James is building it. God, yeah. So it's supposed to do a Yak 3?
Second, sorry?
They do a Yak 1, don't they?
No, it's supposed to do a Yak 3 as well.
I don't know.
Yeah.
James says he's building the B25. Rebel's boxing of it.
It's supposed to do a Yak 3.
Well, I thought we could get it, Tony. If the register is in, it's Sam. Hello, Sam.
Cameo.
If it's cameo at the back. If it's in production, then yes. If it's in the catalogue and it's in production, then yeah.
The IL2 single seat has the 2-seat underside, so you have to glue it shut and then fill it. Okay. Neil says, mind you, if you sell it on Evil Bay, you still have to have the fees and all the rest of it. True. Yes, Revell did the 48 scale B25J for the D versions. Again, beautiful kits. Do you happen to know which company is doing the Avengers? What, is in the aircraft Avengers or the characters?
I was going to say, what, the TV program?
The ones that assemble or the planes? If you mean the Avenger, was that Italy did the boxing of that one? Which one was that?
What, the Accurate Miniatures one?
Yeah.
Hilario's reboxed it, and obviously it's the Accurate Minches one, and I don't think anybody else. Oh, sorry, I think Academy has done it as well at some point.
Yeah, I think they
None
have,
of them are available now, so you'd have to hunt around for them. The best one they did one with the Atlantic scheme, which is the grey and the white.
That was it, yeah.
That looks stunning in that scheme.
Yeah, they're all saying on here, Academy did the Reeboks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where you want to be looking.
Yeah.
Some people have a couple of them.
You do, don't you, Andy?
Andy's got farming with cash.
He's got a fleet.
Or pizza.
He's got pizza. Buying pizza, yeah.
Yeah, so it takes more than cash to take my kids away from me.
Have you recovered from them you sold at the auction?
Just.
Still gets the sweats. Gets a bit teary.
You see, bought me a new microphone, so.
Yeah. Like I said, they do come around sporadically. Like they do get released by certain companies, but I think at the minute, like Academy's got the molds. So.
Yeah, Academy are the last ones to release it.
Yeah, and the Dauntless, if I remember, and the Vindicator. That's the other one they did.
That was it. Yeah, the Vindicator. Yeah.
So.
It does make you wonder with the quality of the kits how they ever went down, doesn't it?
I think because he was too ahead of the time. I think they put that much detail into them, they couldn't get the money back, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, now, you're talking the 90s with different...
Because they weren't massively expensive.
No.
That was the thing. It's not like they were horrendously different in price to everybody else's. They were, what I would call reasonably priced, considering the amount of detail you got in there. And it probably was. Their tooling costs and everything must have been an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
And their design process and all those types of things. And yeah, perhaps they just never got the money back and they just fell, you say you get into a hole and you can't get out. Shame,
the trouble
really.
is though as well though, they was out in the 90s when probably the hobby was in transition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because obviously you missed the golden days of the 70s and 80s, say. Mm-hmm. They come into the 90s and then it was like the computer game generation had started, wasn't it? That's when your Segas and your Nintendos and stuff had really started to get old. Mm-hmm. So you're losing that sort of market there. And then obviously we were all at the pub. So we'd retired, semi-retired from the hobby. So probably by the time the internet came and the resurgence in the hobby came when the internet started up, they'd gone out of business. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know.
I'd say I'm definitely a collector of those though, but I like to go for the original black boxes, not the second run of the white boxes.
For sale.
They've got to have the right colour boxes.
Got the right batch number.
That's it. He only wants the first batches. Shadow Model says, no matter which paint I use and no matter how I thin it, it doesn't seem to provide a tough surface. Could be not spraying out enough. The coat could be too thin, but have good coverage, ? Again, depends on what paint you're spraying, what you're thinning it with, and stuff like that as well. So, technically, if you're using like a lacquer-based paint, like Hataka's, for instance, they've got beautiful coverage and it's a good, hard, solid finish on those. But again, if you're using something like MRP, beautiful finish, but it's very thin by its nature. And then obviously other ones, if you're mixing, depending on your ratios of how you're doing it, if you put down a thin coat, you'll go through it very, very quickly. But also, if the paint hasn't completely gassed off, as we were talking about earlier, it can soften the paint, which means you'll wear through it as well. Instead of it being a very thin, hard, rock-hard coat, if it's slightly soft, you'll rub through it very, very quickly.
I do find Vallejo really, really, really bad for scratching and...
Again, though, how fast is that after you've painted it, though, that it's marking? Is that weeks, days, hours?
So he's just saying here, hold on, to finish off that one, he said he's using Tamiya with both their thinners and ISO. I think it means IPA or ISO propanol.
ISO propanol.
Yeah. and Vallejo Model Air. So we were saying like Vallejo Model Air, out of all the manufacturers I sort of use as well, the Model Air is probably always going to be the weakest just by its nature. It is quite a soft acrylic. It goes through, especially if you're using like their own thinners or just with X20A, if it's in what I call a rub point. So if you've got it on a particular model, not that I've got one to hand here, but if it's in that area where you're always grabbing it, you know, if you've got a model, and let's face it, most models have an area where they, particularly you're always going to hold it. F-16s, I always hold around the front, you know, and then obviously you get some aircraft you hold around the middle. When I've been working on the bombers, you tend to hold them just behind the wings. You've got those grip points and you'll always probably go through with them because the oil's off your hands as well. The acid's on your hands. Although they look clean and dry and stuff like that, you'd be amazed how much that'll affect it. Yet if you wear some gloves, rubber gloves, but also like if you use cotton gloves, you definitely don't get it as much. I've done it before when I've been working with like chrome finishes and stuff like that because you can wear through those.
It does say that it's just got Mr. Leveling thinners, and that will make a hell of a difference with Tamiya.
Yeah, with Tamiya definitely, because it's making it more work like a lacquer. Then it will dry off quicker and harder finish.
Don't try it with Model Air though.
Yeah, don't put it in acrylics, otherwise you'll end up with glue.
James is off. He's enjoyed the afternoon. See you later, James. The other thing with Vallejo Model Air though, it's latex based, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've got to wait for it to dry. It's a bit like their primers. It's not an instant fix, is it? I think you've got to give it time to harden off.
I think we were talking earlier about doing clear coats. I think Vallejo is one of those ones where it helps after you've painted it before you do anything else.
Yeah,
give it a clear coat because it stops that. It helps getting around scratching into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I think you find as well is like, especially if you're like me now, I use a lot of lacquers. To go back, and I haven't done it in a while, though I've got some there. If I go back to using Model Air, it would probably seem very, very fragile because you sort of get used to what you're working with, and lacquers tend to give you that, you know, that sort of shield, if you like, that handling is not a problem. They dry very quickly. There's a lot more, you know, obviously pluses to minuses to using them, but again, I think if you're doing it, when I going back, I used to use Vallejo Model Air exclusively for everything pretty much. I used to put clear coats down before decaling and things, but a lot of that would protect the paintwork, you see. So you wouldn't be able to scratch it as easy, even if it was just a coat of Future or something else like that, just to protect it.
Yeah.
Please be up on you. Says wash hands every 20-30 minutes. If your handling gets a lot, it only takes a few seconds. Yeah, I'm in my 50s, so I have to go to the toilet every 20-30 minutes. So.
But he never washes his hands.
I do. Look.
But again, if you're on about that, look, that's about to play out. Look, we've done a whole 30-minute video whilst that was on. I've got down in here. In fact, I haven't. I just had to give a few packs of these away to a friend of mine who's got dodgy skin. He's looking like the singing detective. Anyway, but these are really, really nice. You can buy them cheap off of the old internet. But these are cotton gloves.
Shampoo.
Yeah, that's it, Mickey Mouse. But these are absolutely fantastic because, again, this is what I use for handling all the metal finish ones. So obviously AK Extreme Metals, anybody's really, I like to use these because, again, they're cotton. So you don't go anything at all. And they're very, very smooth. There's no roughness to them. But they're just literally pure cotton gloves. But you can buy them literally off of the usual places like eBay, Amazon, all the rest of it. But it comes, I think it was like 100 pairs for not very much at all. You know, they're not the best quality.
Go on, Phil, do it.
That's it. I could do that for the Christmas party, look. Get me little mime outfit.
Yeah.
And I'm good to go. So, yes, I'm all right.
That's it.
So, but yeah, you could say you buy them in pairs, but they're quite good. Because say if you're doing, especially for like the last jobs, having these on, it's great. Just stops you getting too much amongst it all. Right, so if we just finish off because we are almost out of time.
Yep.
Building the Tamiya M40 self-propelled gun. Excellent detail, bloody big kit, weathering heaven. It would be on that. Go to town on that. Lovely. Okay, guys, currently building the Revell Bentley.
Ooh.
Is the Brunswick green and British Racing green the same colour?
No. Brunswick green is a completely different colour to British, but mind you, I say it's completely different. It's probably not, but it's a different name.
Yeah. Would you recommend the paint?
Would I recommend, did you say?
Yeah, using that green for it. Brunswick green.
Umbro used to do a Brunswick green. No, seriously, they do. I'm sure Umbro do a Brunswick, because obviously the old Airfix Bentley's that old, isn't it?
Yeah.
The big one, and then they did a smaller one. The one he's got, I think, is the old Ella kit.
Yeah.
Which is 3-box by Revell. Because British Racing Green didn't that not come until the 60s with BRM and all them? Formula One.
I think so, yeah, something like
that.
that.
I could be wrong here. Somebody's probably going to correct me. Probably older, but I'm sure like British Racing Green was from like the Formula One cars. See, I don't know who else does a Brunswick Green apart from Umbro. Again, you look for zero paint, gravity, all the usual. It's a car paint, really, isn't it?
Yes.
According to Wikipedia, which is never wrong, British Racing Green is a colour similar to Brunswick Green.
Oh wow!
But apparently British Racing Green isn't a particular colour.
Oh, well, there you go. That sounds about right.
Yeah, and it means a colour in the colour green in general.
It's our old British Racing Green. Watch it. It's from the 1920s or something. No, I'm just saying.
Origins when 1902.
There you go. We're far out, was that?
Close.
Originally on.
To be honest, though, you could probably get away with using Brunswick green because unless you got British Racing green next to it, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference anyway. So I really wouldn't worry about it.
British Racing Green instead of Brunswick Green because, like I say, if they are the same sort of thing. I don't know.
Apparently, Napier cars.
Yeah.
Because they were racing in Ireland.
Yeah.
As a mark of respect for their Irish hosts, the English cars were painted shamrock green.
All right.
Being called British Racing Green.
Okay.
I thought shamrock green was a lighter green. Because
Oh,
British Racing Green's a dark green, isn't it?
It's a very dark, yeah. Well, it can be. Like I say, that many shades of British Racing Green. It's.
Well, it's like
I don't think there is true.
Pass, don't know. Just speculating. Are you guys on here tomorrow? Yes.
No. Tuesday.
I'll be here. Don't panic. So I'll just do my Q&A show and I'll do it live instead.
No, we're going to come on to badger you and just give you some brief.
That's about right. Start heckling from the background.
Yeah, we're just going to be the audience, aren't we, Andy, in the background?
Yeah.
We'll be like Waldo and Tatler off the Muppets.
Yeah, that's it. It's about right. Okay, Christopher says, just to be clear, can you use Tamiya XF paints with levelling thinner
Yes.
that you use for lacquers? Yes.
Yes.
Remember, usual thing, if it's got a flammable symbol on it, then technically you're good to use lacquers. It's simple. So Guns paints, their Aquatis range, because technically they're alcohol-based, not true acrylics. So you're good to go. The one you just don't put lacquers near is Vallejo. Otherwise, you will end up with gum.
Hold on, let's correct that. Vallejo Model A.
Vallejo Model A
works fantastic with.
Yeah, but there's something that they don't like in there, isn't it?
Yeah. Gosh. So I think that's about it, isn't it?
It is. Just to go through, just a couple of just to finish off then. Peas be upon you. So it says I'm 63 and goes through every 30 minutes. So there you go. Humbrol do Brunswick Green. It's for Great Western Railways and British Rail locos. There you go.
Oh, is that what it's for, is it?
Apparently.
Yeah, right.
Makes sense. Stuart uses distilled water. It's okay to thin Vallejos when you run out of thinner. Distilled water is great because it does work. It's far better than tap water, but I still wouldn't recommend it. Best thing to do if you run out and if you've got airbrush cleaner, their acrylic airbrush cleaner Vallejo works great with Model F or any of the Vallejo paints or any acrylic paints. To be honest,
Can't you use screen wash?
Yeah, screen wash because it's got alcohol in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It needs to be the undiluted screen wash.
Yeah, you want the pure one, not the diluted one, though. Model Air doesn't need to be thinned. You can just spray it straight out of the bottle, but I always thinned it with just a couple of drops just to help it go along. But also, if you're using it with like their airbrush cleaner, it's got like a retarder in it, slows it down from drying too quick and makes it level out a little bit better. So I always used to thin it a little bit, to be honest. Woodwork, you'd have to have a look with the hardware. We could, hold on, just see its size. Yeah, look, £4 for 500ml bottle. What's that? Screen wash. You do that way. Airbrush cleaner, try that. Trust me, it works very well.
Yeah, it does.
Vallejo is very popular with figure painters that can't get on with it. It
I was about
comes
to
off
say that's
too
why
easy.
so many behind him, but
It was originally developed for cloth painting. There you go. Sounds about right. Work like that because it's polyurethane. Work well on material, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That probably explains a lot. If that is right, yeah. That's why it would be it. That's why it's full of polyurethane, so it's flexible and doesn't crack. So yes, good. Anyway, that will do us for today. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much to the gentleman below for joining us as well. Lovely as always. So we're going to carry these along. So I'll be on with you tomorrow. Matt might be in. Andy, you working tomorrow?
Morning. I'm finishing at 12 for the next couple of weeks.
Let Andy be back. He's dependable, you see. So anyway, if you have got any questions, obviously we can post them on here, but if you want us to do demo-y things, is what I tend to do on my Tuesday show, send it to me in advance and I can prepare for it then. So if I need to get some stuff out and sort it out for it, I can do it on that way. So if you've got usual things like airbrushing problems or whatever it might be, then any questions like that. So tomorrow afternoon will be very much similar today, but a little bit more scripted maybe on your questions. So if you have members, remember, shoot them to me, usual place in the forum on the Tuesday show, and then obviously the Wednesday show will be the same, but we can do it live as well. So that'll be the PM model show. So that's the one where we talk all things kits and stuff like that. Thursday show will probably be around here as well, and then obviously Friday will be as well. So keeping you all going. That's it. Michael Jackson. Well, no, don't really want to be Michael Jackson. No, it's a bit like I'm putting me woggle board back.
We were doing so well.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Anyway, that's how I got out the window. Right. Okay. Thank you very much for joining us, people. We will see you again very soon. Remember, stay safe, keep distance, mask up, clean your hands, wash, and all the rest of it. And we will see you again tomorrow. So say goodbye, gentlemen.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.